Right now, as you're listening to this on a Tuesday evening, the world feels solid, predictable, but the ground beneath your feet is built on a foundation of pure chance. I want you to travel back with me. Not 1,000 years, not 1,000,000. 66 million years. The air is thick, hot, and smells of damp earth and strange blossoms. And high above, in the silent blackness of space, an assassin is coming. It's a mountain of rock and ice, 10 kilometers wide, and it's moving 50 times faster than a rifle bullet. For millennia, it has been on a perfect, unalterable collision course with Earth. Down below, the masters of the planet, the dinosaurs, live out their final moments in blissful ignorance. They have no idea that their 150 million year dynasty is about to be violently concluded by a celestial executioner. Now, picture the scene. The final moments. The asteroid screams into the upper atmosphere. The sky begins to burn. But in our story, something is different. A tiny nudge, a gravitational whisper from Jupiter 1,000,000 years before, has altered its path by the width of a human hair. Instead of impact, it's a near miss. It rips through the atmosphere, a terrifying streak of white-hot fire that illuminates the entire continent before it slingshots past our planet and vanishes back into the void. The dinosaurs look up, startled by the terrifying light show, and then they go back to grazing, back to hunting. They have just witnessed the bullet of their own extinction whistle past their ear, and they will never ever know it. In our world, what followed that impact was hell on Earth, a world of darkness, fire, and acid. But in this timeline, the catastrophe never comes. The Great Cretaceous greenhouse, this savage garden of life, is allowed to flourish, unchecked. The world doesn't reset, it doubles down. Imagine evolution with its foot slammed on the accelerator for another 66 million years. The forests grow denser, the swamps grow wider, and the giants grow more gigantic. Tyrannosaurs evolve into even more terrifying predators, perhaps leaner, faster, with serrated teeth designed to slice through the ever thicker hides of their prey. The lumbering titanosaurs, already the largest land animals in history, could evolve to become true living mountains, their footsteps shaking the very earth, their heads reaching high above the forest canopy. This isn't just a world of dinosaurs, it's the ultimate expression of the dinosaur form, a planet where the evolutionary arms race between hunter and hunted has reached a fever pitch of terrifying magnificence. The air is filled with the calls of creatures we can barely imagine, a constant thunderous symphony of life at its most extreme. This is their world, and we are about to become a footnote in it. Now let's talk about your family, your direct ancestors. At this time, they were tiny, shrew-like mammals, living a life of perpetual terror. Their world was the undergrowth, their time was the dead of night, and their existence was a never-ending horror movie. The asteroid was their get-out-of-jail-free card. But in this world, jailbreak never happens. For mammals, the prison of the night becomes a permanent sentence. Every rustle in the leaves is a potential raptor. Every tremor in the ground is the footstep of a carnosaur. There is no room to grow, no niche to fill that isn't already occupied by a creature 100 times your size and 1,000 times more powerful. Imagine the psychology of a species trapped like this for millions of years. Evolution would shape them not for dominance, but for pure, unadulterated survival. They would become masters of stealth, of hiding, of absolute silence. Their brains, instead of growing to ponder the stars, would be hardwired for one thing and one thing only: fear. They are the permanent underclass of this planet, and the dream of a world ruled by mammals dies a quiet, unnoticed death in the shadow of giants. So, if not our ancestors, then who? On a planet this competitive, this drenched in tooth and claw, where does the light of consciousness finally dawn? You might think it would be the biggest, the strongest, but that's rarely how evolution works. True leaps forward often come from the middle, from creatures that have to be clever because they are not the most powerful. Forget the T-Rex, forget the lumbering giants. Look instead to the dromaeosaurs, the raptors. They were already nature's perfect little assassins, fast, agile, and equipped with killer claws. But they had 3 other secret weapons. 1, grasping hands, capable of holding and manipulating objects. 2, they were social. They hunted in packs, which demanded communication. And 3, their brains were already unusually large for their body size. In these creatures, the evolutionary pressure was different. It wasn't just about being stronger, it was about outthinking your prey and out-cooperating your rivals. This is where the spark ignites. Not a fire, but a slow, dim glow in the mind of a feathered hunter. A new, complex call to coordinate an ambush. The first time one of them looked at a sharp rock and saw not a rock, but a tool. This is the ghost in the machine. Intelligence has found a new home. But how do you build a civilization when you don't have human hands? How do you forge a world when your primary tools are a beak and claws? This new intelligence, let's call them the Saurians, would follow a technological path completely alien to our own. Their engineering wouldn't be one of stone and steel, but of flesh and fiber. They would be weavers of unparalleled skill. Imagine vast, intricate cities woven into the canopies of colossal, ancient trees. Bridges of living vines, communal chambers braided from flexible branches, entire metropolises suspended 1,000 feet in the air, safe from the titans that patrol the forest floor below. They wouldn't build skyscrapers, they would grow them. Their tools would be extensions of their bodies. They would learn to use obsidian flakes held in their claws for fine carving. They would use their powerful beaks to shape wood and clay. Their art wouldn't be painting on cave walls, but perhaps intricate soundscapes, complex songs that echo through their canopy cities, or dazzling sculptures woven from iridescent feathers. It would be a civilization of organic, living cathedrals, a world built not in opposition to nature, but in partnership with it. What would it be like to be one of them? What is the shape of a soul that hatches from an egg? Their minds would be as alien as their bodies. Our human consciousness is a warm, messy, emotional thing, forged in the mammalian crucible of parental care and close-knit tribes. Theirs would be a cooler, sharper intelligence. Their social bonds would be built on the intricate logic of the flock, a complex dance of dominance and cooperation. Their primary sense would be vision, a predatory gaze that sees the world in hyper-definition, noticing details we could never perceive. Their language would be a flurry of clicks, whistles, and shimmering feather displays, capable of conveying complex, abstract thought with crystalline precision. What is love to a creature that doesn't feel the warmth of a mother's milk? What is art to an eye that was born to hunt? What is philosophy to a mind that sees the world as a beautiful, brutal, logical system? To meet them would be to meet a mind of pure, brilliant, and perhaps terrifying reason, an intelligence unburdened by the sentimental baggage of mammalian evolution. Fast forward to their present day, 66 million years of progress. Their canopy cities are now global networks. They have harnessed steam power using geothermal vents, and their understanding of genetics and biology is far beyond our own. They have never needed a fossil fuel industry. They mastered organic technology millennia ago. They move through their world with a quiet confidence, the undisputed masters of their planet, but they are not its only inhabitants. Down on the forest floor, the ancient gods still walk. The colossal, city block-sized herbivores and the terrifying descendants of T-Rex are still there. The Saurians don't hunt them. That would be insane. They are treated as forces of nature, living gods to be respected, tracked, and meticulously avoided. And deep in the undergrowth, the ghosts still live, our mammalian ancestors. To the Saurians, they are just curious wildlife. They might observe a small, primate-like creature with its nimble hands and big, fearful eyes and see it as a sad little evolutionary dead end, an animal with a hint of potential that never stood a chance. They would never know they are looking at their own ghost, the ghost of the species that, in a different roll of the cosmic dice, would have inherited the world. When the Saurians finally turn their gaze to the stars, what would they think? They would see a universe of silent, empty worlds. They would develop their own version of the Fermi paradox, wondering where everyone else is. But their conclusion would be very different from ours. They would see their own existence not as a fluke, but as an inevitability. They survived. They thrived. They are the pinnacle of a 150-million-year-old dynasty. They would assume that this is simply how the universe works. The strong, the dominant, the perfectly adapted are the ones who make it. They would be right, in a way. But they would have missed the secret ingredient. They wouldn't know that their entire history, their very consciousness, was only made possible by a celestial near miss. It might be that the Great Filter, that theoretical barrier that stops civilizations from rising, isn't a nuclear war or a climate collapse. Maybe the Great Filter is a 10-kilometer-wide piece of rock, and for life to succeed, the rock has to miss. And so, we are left with this ghost of a world. A planet that is, for all intents and purposes, a more successful version of our own. A world where the Great Dynasty was never broken. It forces us to look at our own existence not as a triumph of evolution, but as an act of cosmic luck. You are sitting here today because of an apocalypse. Your consciousness is the unlikely flower that grew from the ashes of a global tomb. Every city you see, every piece of art, every thought in your own head is only possible because of a moment of unimaginable violence 66 million years ago. We are the children of the catastrophe. It's a dizzying thought. Our dominance feels so absolute, so preordained. But it was all balanced on a knife's edge. A tiny change in trajectory, and the entire story of this planet would have a different protagonist. The next time you are outside, find a bird, a pigeon, a sparrow, it doesn't matter. Look it in the eye. That sharp, unblinking gaze is a direct window into the past. You are looking at a modern dinosaur, a tiny, living relic of the dynasty that ruled the world. But now, maybe you'll see something else. You'll see a shard of a mirror reflecting a world that could have been. A world of canopy cities, of feathered philosophers, of reptilian logic. You'll see the ghost of the intelligence that should have been here. You exist because the universe played the grandest casino in the cosmos and your number came up. You are the impossible winner of a lottery you never even knew you were playing. And that, perhaps, is the most interesting truth of all. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel, like, comment, and share with your friends.